Okay, YouTube friends, this is the scenario here. On this 12-kilometer long trail, there are 6 potential bridge locations that the client wants us to look at. At this trip, we're only looking at 2. And this is bridge 2 that we need to design, come up with some ideas, come up with a budget, construction plans, that sort of thing. We're at a super steep gully. There is runoff here. It's dry now in the fall, but there is water running here in the spring. Could be a lot depending on the snowpack at any given year. So we do want to build an elevated bridge to make it easier for mountain bikers. Yeah, the hiking traveler is not as affected by this, but yeah, for mountain bikers we want to create easier access, make this trail a little bit more enjoyable. I mean, that's relatively easy to put some cribbing in here. Like, cribbing is what we call what your log rafters, what your stringers sit on, you know, but you've got endless supply of nice rocks here. So they can grab some of these rocks and dig them in to sit their stringers on. So that part could be relatively easy. There are some options. Just this spring, we built a bridge on a trail where the stringers were straight, but where you created a bit of a curve just by having the decking wider in parts. Yeah. The overlap of our boards, it can't be over a certain amount. You know, we can't just have a board sticking out 2 feet. Yeah. But if, let's say, if we have an overlap of, usually for something like this, I go anywhere between 3 and 4 inches. So we could go much wider than this. You know, we could go up to 12 inches to almost a foot to create a bit of a curve. And again, you know, it wouldn't be every deck. It just starts out at our regular width and then it gets a little wider to give you a bit more of a safety feeling when you ride it. So that could be one option, that we go basically to where you are and then start digging out that hillside a bit to make it easier for a rider to have a nice approach from the other side. Because what that allows me is that we get away with 1 set of stringers. If we do anything that's curved, because, you know, we're not working with engineered aluminum stringers that get flown in here. If we use either pressure treated 6x6, 8x8 stringers that are flown in or packed in, we would have only straight, and we can always work with the dirt. If this would be a rock wall behind you, we wouldn't have an option. Then we'd have to look at a different thing. But the dirt looks so good. This is so easy digging where you are. Like 2 guys within half a day could dig out a bit of a climbing turn back there. But yeah, it's just not that easy. If you wanted to go really elaborate, you could almost create a bit of a wall ride, but I don't think, considering how much work it is to get the material on site here.
And I think with a creek during spring, as we can see all the dead trees, it could damage the bridge too.
That's a good point too. Yeah. So man, I wonder, like, this is a good starting location. That's a good starting point. And then we want to go level, so we want to end up where you are. That's the other option, that you have, that you come more in an angle like this. And
where you are, I think we can even like also dig a little
start digging this out a little bit to set you up nicely. and then you start swinging around, and I come towards you there. I do keep in mind, again, here it really comes down to getting the material in. So, you know, every 2 meters that we can shorten this bridge will make a big difference in cost and construction time. So, you know, if we can shorten it even by 2 meters, it's going to make a difference here.
But is it possible to build it with like the wood we can find here? Like there are a lot of dead trees here.
That I have to ask. Like
Okay.
from what I know, typically the last project I did in BC parks, it wasn't. Like they would not allow us to use anything on the ground. Everything had to be brought in. But they might make an exception here. I have to talk to the...
I mean, there are plenty of it, so yeah.
Yeah, like there's a beautiful cedar tree there that would be ideal. The size is great. It's right here. You can drop it. It falls here. You don't have to move it much. Like that would be ideal. Like there are lots of good trees here that you could utilize. They need to be peeled. But yeah, you got cedar stringers. Yeah, so yeah, man.
Then
I want
the width.
the width. Like here, at a minimum, we'd go 4 feet. At a minimum, we would go 4 feet. I think we'll even propose to have this wider. And the reason for it is because it's relatively high off the ground.
Yeah.
We really want to make people feel comfortable on it. You know, you can tell it's always in the shadow here. It's going to get slippery. You'll have leaves on that bridge. So we want to make people feel comfortable using that bridge.
Do you
So
want to put
a
rail?
railing, no.
Okay.
Tricky location, but yeah, a curved bridge, that's just like,
Yeah,
it
no.
would cost 4 times as much, 5 times as much.
Yeah.
It would take 3
No, but-
times the time of building and bringing the material in. You know, you could go past Patrick, put rocks there, and do rock cribbing. Build this section up with rocks, have the stringers there, and then another set of stringers coming out, and then have the decking nice and curved. But I don't think it warrants that type of money here. What I would like to do is take some flagging tape and tape it to a rock or to that brush in front of you, to that willow there at the ground, and then we stretch it here, and I'll tie it up here, and then I'll bring the drone out and we'll take an aerial photo. Also, we'll take that and stretch it. Yeah. Is it holding there or? Look. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. Let's get the drone out. Set this thing right down there is good. think what we'll do is we'll build a 20-foot bridge here, about 4 feet wide, and it's elevated 4 feet at the highest point. I think this is our best option here. We were considering a curved bridge, but I just don't think it makes sense here. It's always wet. It's just too tricky. Construction cost would be too high. So let's stick with a simple, straight log bridge with some simple straight decking on it. Should be good. Perfect. So yeah, let's call this stringer 20 feet. Okay. 20 feet stringer, and yeah. And so if you write that down, and then the other measurement I want just for my notes is the height down to the creek, and I mean that just depends on where you measure, but that's just rough. So yeah, we're about 4 feet above the creek center. So yeah, 4 feet is the highest point of the bridge. And
you told me 20 feet, right?
20 feet, yeah. And yeah, I mean we can, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's all we would need. We would carve out the side hill here a bit and over there. So so you can call it dirt work or bridge approach work, and I would say half day for a crew of two people, half a day. And when I write the document, or when we write the document, when I work on the actual budget, I'll take into consideration the travel time, how long it takes to hike in here, because the hours that we're marking down is strictly the work time. I want to allow for, let's say, 3.5 to 4 hours of digging here, digging it out for the cribbing, digging the side hill out, so it's a nice approach. You can swing wide to hit that bridge.
So with all the time travel, it will be roughly a day.
Yeah, and I'm gonna estimate that, by the time I know, okay, it's gonna take us 2 days to build that bridge, and it's gonna take us 1 day to bring the material in, and then one day to dig this out. So then I'm gonna estimate, like maybe the same day they'll bring the material in, they start digging this out, because obviously I don't want to have them wasting 3 hours of hiking just to get here to dig this out, and then they have to hike back out. Yeah. So that's where these wilderness trails, where access is an issue, where we often have to come up with creative ideas. I might have to talk to the crew and ask them, can you put a 10-hour day in? Can you put a 12-hour day in? Because it's going to take us so long to hike in. And then, we'll come up with an arrangement that works for both for us and the client. Yeah. Because, because here access is an issue, and I've been thinking about the whole time we're hiking in, would it make sense to hire a boat, rent a boat for this type of work? But we're too far away from the water, not in distance, but you just can't get through here to pack any tools or material up. It's not gonna make things easier.